ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, we're going to be doing a little bit more news today in terms of, what's going on with Elon Musk and the IRS and all that other stuff that's been going on here. Now, I have some issues with this, but we shall see on how this goes. I have more opinion on the fact that this probably should be more removing, the income tax, the definitely property tax, and a few other taxes as well. Because again, this is all great and dandy, but it doesn't solve the huge crux of the problem here, right? So without further ado, we're gonna go with this. Now, we have this here from the Daily Mail saying, Elon Musk considers DOGE dividend that would send 5,000 check to all Americans following massive budget cuts. Elon Musk showed interest in an idea that would guarantee a $5,000 payment or DOGE dividend to every American to show off the $55 billion in taxpayer funds saved. The Department of Government Efficiency, aka DOGE, Tuesday that President Trump has saved taxpayers a staggering $55 billion in less than a month. DOGE complains the savings were found through a combination of detecting and deleting fraud and canceling contracts and leases and selling assets. Investment firm CEO James Fishback had an idea for how to make Americans aware of how much of their money was being saved. President Trump and Elon Musk should announce a DOGE dividend, a tax refund check sent to every taxpayer funded exclusively with a portion of the total savings delivered by DOGE, he wrote. Musk replied, curious, but said that he will check with the president. Fishback added, American taxpayers deserve a DOGE dividend. 20% of the money that DOGE saves should be sent back to hardworking Americans as a tax refund check. It was their money in the first place, a $2 trillion in DOGE savings and 78 million tax-paying households. This is a $5,000 refund per household, with the remaining used to pay down the national debt. Elon Musk, let's do this. This is how we rebuild trust in our government. I would actually agree with this and how you would actually rebuild trust in the government. Now, here's the thing that I have with this, right? I understand a $5,000 check for just drop into your account as refund for taxes. That's massive. That's massive. I know how much that would change a lot of my friends' lives, let alone my own life, if we just got a $5,000 check just in our account. That's massive. That would pay off some people's debts. That would probably pay off some people's housing. That could make them easily pay rent and, maybe get out of the horrible situation that they're in. It would be massive for Americans. I agree with this. Now, here's my retort. The only reason why I'm slightly against this, and the reason why I'm against this, is because I would much rather see us remove income tax, and I would like to remove property tax. Because if you buy a house or what have you, the property tax should not come into play. Why are you paying property tax on something that you own? That's insane. So you own it, you shouldn't have to pay anything for it. So that's one thing. Two, income tax. Why are you being hit hard with an income tax that is hurting your bottom line? It's like, oh, I make this money, but 20% of that goes to to the government? That's insane. That should not be a thing, and this will put more money into the pockets, which putting more money into spending power. Now, I'm going to go over to this a bit more, but then I'm going to go refute the insane leftists that would have to do with this, because obviously they don't understand economy or economics or whatever is going on in their little brains. Says the group nicknamed the Nerd Army also ended grants, fired federal employees, changed some programs, and saved money with regulatory reforms. DOGE's total estimated savings are $55 billion, and it said users of the website could expect updates twice a week, promising additional information improvements with time. The savings were mostly made in the U.S. Agency for International Development, the Department of Education, the Office of Personnel Management, the Department of Health and Human Resources, and the Department of Agriculture. Savings listed on the website features millions of dollars in canceled contracts for diversity, equity, and inclusion, aka DEI, training, as well as ending subscriptions for Politico and other news organizations. Elon Musk and DOGE's efforts to reduce government waste continue to capture the headlines as Democrats and government workers are protesting in the streets about the cuts. Of course they are, because Democrats don't actually care about the American people. If they did, they would be all happy that you were doing cuts and giving them back to the American people. that they're not happy with that. They're angry that you're taking their money and giving it to the American people who they have disdain over. Because obviously, I don't know what person in their right mind would ever remotely be even slightly angry about getting a $5,000 check and them saving your money. Who in the right mind is going to be angry about that? The Democrats. That's who. And any far leftist that is mentally ill. So, there you go. Trump has defended Musk's efforts, telling Fox News host Sean Hannity that they talk frequently about the efforts by Democrats and the media to drive them apart. Yeah, so it is. So, of course, Elon Musk has said we'll check with the president, and it's going to be a deal, right? This is what's been going on. Now, here's what I'm going to have to say about this situation, all right? Here's the thing. The fact of the matter is that this money here is very important to people that could get up and running. The Democrats have never actually wanted to give money to the Americans, because if they wanted to give money to the Americans, they would have done it. They would have simply given the money. They would have simply had a huge investigation on this a long time ago. And whenever you have this much transparency with the government, right? And the Democrats do somehow become back in power in the next 8 to 12 years, it's not going to be good, because they're going to be as transparent as this government is being. And if they're not transparent, people are going to be wondering, why are you not being transparent? So it hurts Democrats in the long run, right? And as you leftists, as you want to say, oh, well, what's going on? Like, why can't we just, we have to blame Elon Musk for this and all that? It's like, lefties, come on now. The fact of the matter is that this, the fact you're blaming Musk and Trump over this type of stuff in the world of economics is insane. Because, let's put it this way. Give somebody $200, all right? Just $200. I'm putting it low ball for you to understand. And say that you have taxes, right? And the government, pretty much is able to fund and do more things off of, what the American people get, right? That makes more money. Well, say for instance, you take those $200 and the government takes 20% of that, and they're left, with maybe 120 whatever amount of dollars. The people have less money to spend. Even if you had taxes, the people don't have enough spending power in order to buy what they want, because they have less money in their account. And say, for instance, the people are able to buy more things. Say, for instance, all their bills are paid, such as their food, their electricity bill, their rent, and everything. And they have excess cash to spend, which means they have excess cash outside because they're not being taxed to all hell. They can spend more, and the government can make more money this way just through sales tax, because that'd be fine, because people will be able to buy more things through sales tax, which means, in this instance, you have people buy this. They get taxed on the sales, but they can keep on buying more and more because they have more excess income. But if you tax them immensely for property tax, income tax, and all these other things, they have less spending power to go buy things because they're struggling. They're trying to make ends meet. They're trying to pay their rent, which means when they have the leftover money, they're not going to buy more stuff because they have to save and make sure they have excess cash to pay for other stuff. But if they have more than that, they can pay for more things, which means the government makes more money. That's just the reality. And if anybody thinks that this is a bad idea for giving Americans more money to spend, then I don't know what to tell you. You're lost. You're gone. You're forever gone. Go to a communist country, experience that for 5-10 years, then come back and realize on how stupid you are. All right? So, again, it's like, this is just the reality, all right? And if the only best thing I think that you can get out of this, outside of, maybe not doing this at all, is that you cut off the property tax, you cut off the income tax, and the people also get $5,000 a check. Oh my God, there is no way that the American people are going to think differently again, that this government is not the best government. Because you give them the $5,000 check just for the taxes, and then you remove income tax and property tax? That's massive. That's massive. Even if you keep our IRS, that's still massive, and people are going to love the government for that. So the Democrats have a tough hill to climb, and we'll see how it goes. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Let's guys share. As always, take care, my friends.
Burn down the city, scream at the top of your lungs till you're dizzy. You can cancel everything and everybody in it, but it's not your